Big Boar BBQ presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar BBQ, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. And by the D&D Diner. Good food, fine wine. On Theater Road in Sparta, next to the BP Truck Stop.
Hi, race fans. Welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with that guy, Paul Reichert, and that guy down there, that's Billy Doc Niles. We're ready to rock and roll with the area's only, probably one of the state's only racing TV shows that are still in existence, and this being year number 8.
Nice. That's we bring you highlights from La Crosse. We bring you highlights from Tomah. We talk about things that are happening at both tracks, and we try to be informative too.
Program brought to you by Big Boar BBQ. Oh, we're going to talk about them here later on, and it does have to do with some sort of racing. It deals with automobiles. We'll talk about that later in the program. Also brought to you by Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, D&D Diner in Sparta, Epic Media and Vinyl, Back 40 Reps Incorporated, and fansarena.com. Look, I got it. I got it on the right time here this time. Let's go to the Crosse Speedway, and I always like when this young man right here gets to make my video highlights of our last 2 laps of all the features. Going to start things up, Billy Doc Niles, with our late model feature, the Crosse Speedway. Who is that 91 car?
That would be Roush Xfinity Series driver Ty Majeski. He shows up. He showed up at home here. He won the night before at Madison. Came back to La Crosse. Now we all assumed he was on 4 brand new tires because he went out and set a blazing fast speed in qualifying. He went from the back to the front of the dash, past Steve Carlson on the last lap of the last corner to win the dash. And then, the feature, he starts on the 6th row, and he's in the lead by the 10th lap. I talked to Toby Newman, his crew chief, right before the feature. Noticed he was taking his spot in the line. I said, hey, you guys don't have 4 tires on, do you? He says, no, we got 3 old tires from last year and 1 new one. And that team takes care of their tires. You watch it when the car comes in, he got guys all over their tires, scrubbing them off, keeping them clean, getting the cellophane on them, keeping them warm, and they do a phenomenal job taking care of their tires, and it shows by the speed in them cars.
Tough break for Nick Paninsky, last year's champion, involved in a wreck about just over the halfway mark. And that really put him out there. He's like 46 points back now with the championship and eliminated from the Chase Championship, which began on Saturday. Tough break for Jacob Gady, too. He was involved in that melee, but he says he'll be back out, and I would project that Mr. Paninsky would be back out as well. To the sportsman we go, and Paul Reichert, I got a feeling that this battle between Steve Bachman and Chris Webber, I think this is going to go down all the way to fast.
Yes, it will. It's getting really tight now. It's getting interesting between these two, so it's going to be a great ride all the way to the end of the season.
What was a better ride was this. Look at this. Tom Lethe, last 2 laps of this feature right here. And Billy Doc Niles, Tom Lethe said he didn't know where Bachman was. He didn't know where Webber was. He told me I wasn't looking at the scoreboard. Just like Taylor Dobbs in the Thunderstocks, his foot was not coming off the accelerator.
Yeah, if you see these last 2 laps here, he's got a straightaway lead over Bachman. Bachman involved in a lap 1 melee, which took out over half the field. And they all made it back out, all but 1, I think it was, which was phenomenal. And Bachman had to come from the back. He made it all the way up to 2nd, and I thought, well, he's going to chip away that lead. He might catch him by the checker flag. Didn't happen. Lethe maintained that straightaway lead through the whole, I think it was last 8 laps. And phenomenal job by Tom. I mean, nice solid pace, nice easy lines in and out of the corners. Great job winning his first ever sportsman feature.
And didn't Lethe win the dash as well?
Yes, he did.
Look at that. How about a 2-time night for Mr. Tom Lethe in what I still say is one of the best looking cars he's ever had out there. I love that paint scheme.
Oh, most definitely. They put a lot of time and effort. And we thought at the beginning of the year, he had his Uncle Dan's car, the orange 23 Dan Gilster's car. I thought, well, all right. he's going to run that a couple of weeks, then paint it up the way he wants. He was still building his own car. That's why he's running Uncle Dan's car. Now he has his own out there, and he's looking sharp and he's looking fast.
Talking about Taylor Dobbs, let's go to the Thunderstock last two of their feature last weekend. And, Jason Bolster ended up catching the field right here. Jason's been struggling this year, doesn't have any wins, former track champ. He does give Taylor Dobbs a little bit of a love shot, letting him know he's coming in the corners with one to go, but it just wasn't enough.
Dobbs had a pretty good lead at the beginning of this one. Bolster and Andy Moore both ran him down in the last lap, and you watched going into turn 3. Gets the little love tap. Dobbs is sideways, but he straightens his out. Takes his first ever career Thunderstock feature win.
How about street stocks? They were back out as well, and we've seen Benjamin Art in his BMW. We've seen him do this at the Tomah Sparta Speedway, and he does it at La Crosse. He almost won a feature a couple of weekends ago, Paul Reichert at Tomah Sparta Speedway, but it just wasn't going to be his night because the man that beats him from the back row at Tomah did the same thing at La Crosse.
Yes, he did. They got to lap traffic there about 5 laps ago, and Matt Moore took advantage and went around the outside, got by Benjamin, and sailed off with the victory.
Matt Moore, it doesn't matter. He's becoming, obviously he's got the Moore last name. The relation is there. That must be something in the blood because you stick him in the back row every single weekend and he wins every single weekend. And I keep picturing Adam Moore doing the same thing.
Yeah, Adam Moore has just been phenomenal in that yellow 29 in the Thunderstocks. Andy Moore just equally as good, just got caught up in traffic this week, but he did make it to the front by the last lap. I think anybody named Moore right now is a threat to win no matter what car they get in, because I do believe, was it Adam got in somebody else's car at Tomah 2 weeks ago and ended up winning also.
That was Roger Burrow's car.
Yeah, so no matter what they're in, they're a threat to win.
All right, so we have time to show you 2 street stock second of the line races. I had Billy. We timed this perfectly. I called the first 4 laps. He did the last 4 standing right there in the corner. How about this very first one right here? You cannot get around a minivan.
No, you can't. And you see the 2 minivans in the middle plugging this up, and you got guys at the inside, and coming around the outside is Alex Leach. Somebody on the inside flinches. Leach is the second one over the line. Timed it perfectly. Ends up getting the victory for the first second over the line race.
I was watching Leach the entire time come out of that corner. I thought, here he comes. And everybody's log jammed, and right around he went. The second one, of course, your street stock point leader by just a couple of points is Chris Larson, and he kind of made this one look a little bit easier.
From where I was standing, it was tough to call. John Aaron gets out stretches out a big lead, and then like everybody else does on that last lap, they come out of turn 2 and they wait for everybody to catch them. They all get to the line and started playing chicken again, and somebody on the outside crossed the line. And as you can see, it looked like a dead, as quick as it was, it looked like a dead heat between Aaron and Larson, but Larson just edged him out for the victory.
Coming up this weekend, La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, late model, sportsman, Thunderstock, street stocks are back again. And one of my favorite traveling series, the Upper Midwest Vintage Racing Series. And Larry Bolster's going to be out there tonight, or this weekend.
Bang!
And the one that I got to call that race last year when the White Knight got demolished into the front straight wall by Kenny Lewis, he's got it back, and it's going to be back this weekend.
That's going to be cool to see. I love the Midwest Vintage Series. The throwback cars are my favorite in this. You got some guys who do really good, building up older cars.
You're not here this weekend.
No,
you're going to miss.
I'm actually in Cadott right now.
This looks fantastic. It is a replica of the 1983 Chevy Monte from Bobby Allison. From top to bottom, side to side, that thing looks fantastic.
Yes, it does. It's always great to see the cars that you remember from back in the day in NASCAR locally. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and the guys doing the Marzovka, Johnny's Hobby is doing the Tom Ruffner car.
Got the Moose Peterson car back
trickle
again.
Throwbacks, the Moose Peterson, Kenny Hutchins with all the NASCAR throwbacks with the Smokey Unit car, the Darrell Waltrip car. It's just a great series. If you ever get a chance, go see the Midwest Vintage Series. Check it out. You're not going to be disappointed.
Well, they're going to be at La Crosse this weekend. They were at Tomah Sparta Speedway last weekend. I wanted to see what they look like. Stick and stay. That's coming up next on 7 Rivers Racing.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City. to get great barbecue.
4 years in a row and counting. Hi, this is Jerry Beyer at Big Boar BBQ. Once again, La Crosse County has voted us the best barbecue and best caterer in La Crosse County. Making great ribs and great barbecue has always been my passion, and it means a great deal to me that you love what we do. If you haven't tried our ribs, pulled pork, brisket, or smoked chicken, try it and you'll agree. Big Boar BBQ, a delicious mouthful.
Yeah.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call today for your free estimate on a new American Standard system or schedule online at careyheating.com.
At the D&D Diner, you can expect hometown meals, hometown service, and hometown prices. Hi, this is Dale with the D&D Diner in Sparta, your new home for great food, cold beer, and fine wines. Whether it's a big breakfast, a tasty lunch, or traditional dinner, you'll find it on our menu. Whether it's Friday night fish dinners, Saturday night prime rib, or our many daily specials, your place for great food at fantastic prices is the D&D Diner in Sparta.
Welcome back, race fans. Civilers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Billy Doc Niles and Paul Reichert. I'm Dan Dyker. Let's give you some highlights from the Tomah Sparta Speedway last weekend, where we had our largest crowd of the season. And Billy Doc Niles, the Upper Midwest Vintage Series, was there in full force, as were the Mighty Fast Bandoleros, thanks to Mother Nature raining them out earlier this year.
Like we just talked in the last segment about seeing them at La Crosse this weekend. Last weekend, people came out to see the Midwest Vintage Series, and they did not disappoint with the show they put on.
And I tell you what, the other divisions held up their end of the bargain. They all had fantastic finishes as well. Nobody stepped away from any fields last weekend. We're going to start things off with the sportsman. Tom Farah from Sparta, you recognize that name from the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, has his new 26 machine pretty much all put together. And we're going to show the last two laps of this one right here. And the last two laps were pretty much door-to-door. Linden Station's Jake Schiller side by side for several laps until Farah steps into it and crosses the line. This is the kind of track, you're side by side, your error of margin is like as slim as a credit card.
Actually, it's even slimmer when you're in that outside groove, because this is one of the toughest tracks to pass on the outside. You have to literally be hooked up, and you have to hit your marks just right to make a pass on the outside. Toughest corners I've ever seen on a short track, and to watch somebody go side by side at this track, it's a phenomenal job. Whether you win or don't win, you've done great.
And Tom Farah not only gets that win, we're going to tell you about another one he got as he ran double duty at Tomah Sparta Speedway last weekend. The Bandoleros were back in action, and I tell you what, 10-year-old Carter Stark, I know his dad real well, Kyle Stark. Obviously, you guys have heard that name, former Midwest Dash Series champion. His son is doing okay today. I think everybody has seen the video of what happened. I'm not going to show that video. We're going to show the last two laps, because that video with a bunch of kids, I mean, it was people want to see it. Well, it's out there if you want to see it. They turned into a three-wide race with one to go. Carter got lifted, turned sideways on the front straightaway. That lifted him into the front straight wall, smashes that. His bandolero comes apart, does a couple of barrel rolls, and he was at home helping his dad tear the cart apart about 1 o'clock that morning. And that's a tough kid.
That's a race car driver right there.
Last two, though, there was a pretty good move, and 10-year-old Alec Hartwig of Portage, Wisconsin, was the victor in the 901 car. He survived all the melee of what was going on, and I tell you what, Bandoleros came out and did a great job. They had about the average age, I think, was about 10 years old. And matter of fact, the 2017 Elko Speedway Bandolero champion was out there, and he finishes in third place. Wow. To the Hornets we go. Billy Doc Niles. We just had Lonnie Crazy Frog Wood Jr. on the program a couple weeks ago, and it's TV radio karma.
All right, I'll go with that. It's better than Jeff Brown curse, I guess. But You know, it's great. Lonnie goes out there and gets, I think it's his first feature win of the year, isn't it?
That was right.
First feature win in a long time for the team, the Wood team, and it's great to see somebody getting their first feature win of the year.
And you see these last 2 laps here, obviously he's running side by side with Danny Fry. Now, Lonnie Wood Jr., this was probably, he said this was the toughest and funnest race he's ever been involved with. It's a 15-lap feature, Bill and Paul. 14 of those laps were side by side with either the first gentleman, Ronnie Foster, or Dan Fry. He never led this thing, honestly, by himself.
That's and I talked about that at the beginning of this segment. When you're running that outside groove at Tomah, you've got to be hooked up. You've got to hit your marks just right. You've got to brake at the right point, because if you don't, if you push it too hard in the corner, you're washing up. 4 cars go by you just like that. If you slow down just right and you hit your mark just right, you're going to come out side by side with somebody just about every time.
Modifieds were in full force. A couple of cars ended up braking early in the feature. That sent it down to 2. Denny Schott, who had won about a week and a half ago, and Paul Brown, who's won prior. And watch the last 2 of this one here. Paul, I'll tell you what, this brought fans out of their seats to watch these 2 guys run fender to fender, door to door, tire to tire for, what, 9 laps?
Yeah, these 2 have been the class of the season so far, and to see these 2 go at it tooth and nail, and Paul coming out on top, that was just a great race.
So congratulations goes out to Paul Brown, holds off Denny Schott for yet another win. The top 9 in the Hornets points were invited to join the Midwest Dash Series for their feature on Friday night. And this was kind of interesting. West Salem's Patrick Tickey, we've been talking about him the entire year.
Fast car all year.
Oh, yes.
Has been winning left and right. He goes a little bit high in turns 3 and 4. Who squeaks in to get his first ever Midwest Dash Series feature win? We'll watch this right here. Paul Finch. Just had him on the program.
Nice.
There it is again. It's that radio TV car.
That's his first win of the year this season, too, isn't it?
That's his first in quite a while, from what I understood. He just found a crease underneath, said he didn't know where the red car was. He didn't even want to look over his shoulder, so he put his foot into it, and that was it.
So tell me something. If we're using this as an excuse for people to win after they've been on this show, how many text messages are you going to get?
Oh, I usually get quite a few after all these. Remember, there was a span here, Billy, when the radio program was on a different station here. I think we had 9 weeks in a row that we had a driver on that would win a race. So
I think I was in that span.
I think it's coming back around here again. And the top finishing Hornet, and it's a name a lot of people went, wait a minute, I didn't know he was racing. Harry Meyer finishes 3rd.
Wow, that's It's cool that they included the top 9 in points, and it makes for a great mix, great field of cars. Unfortunately, Patrick Tickey not winning this one, but wow, it's so cool to see Paul Finch get his first win.
Upper Midwest Vintage Racing Series was out in full force again, and let's roll the last 2 right here. Drivers, they were driving cars as old as from 1955 and coming as far as Dyer, Indiana. Made this a great show right here. After leading at the halfway mark, Dyer, Indiana's Pat Echelon driving that 66 Chevy Chevelle. Well, he could only watch as Tom Haffer's 77 Chevy Camaro cruised past him all the way into victory lane. That is a car that's going to be at Fest this year. That's going to be a good one. Pat Echelon has been out before. Almost won Oktoberfest, I think it was a couple of years ago. But, man, I'll tell you what, these oldies but goodies were flying.
Pat Echelon has been around for a long time. I remember when he was running super late models and trying to win the Oktoberfest 200, and now he's a regular member of the Vintage Series. Tough competitor, and I can't say it enough, man. I just love watching these cars.
They'll be at the Crosse Speedway this weekend. 6 shooters were out again, and Matt Moore, his string finally came to an end.
No!
Sparta's Tom Farah jumped in Alex Rude's 6-shooter, put a 2, we had the 2 already on there because that's Alex Summer, and a 6. And this went back and forth. I mean, this was going on all night long. Here comes Moore through the back. Here comes Moore through the back. Oh, now they're side by side. The whole stands are standing up. They're thinking Moore's going to get a win. Tom Farah etches him out to get his first win in the 6-cylinder class in 2018. And, man, I tell you what, that was fun to call.
Oh, that was a great race. Just to see that side-by-side finish, wow, that was great.
The racing at Tomah's getting really good right now, man. These side-by-side finishes are going to keep people coming back. It's going to be awesome.
Well, you know, it's not really been that great if Billy hasn't even been out there at all this year. So
I watch video.
Video's not good enough. You got to get out there.
Yeah, it's tough to get there when I got to work till 6 o'clock. So.
Well, we don't start racing until 7:30. So that was called a post call.
Yes, it was.
Stock drivers had that off, by the way. When we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite food, barbecue, and then we're going to put four wheels along with that. That's next on Seven Rivers Racing.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Big Boar BBQ is up and running on the north side of La Crosse. Hi, this is Jerry Beyer at Big Boar BBQ. Yes, the food truck is open at George and Gillette Street to make it easier for you north siders to find out why La Crosse County has voted us 4 years in a row as the best barbecue and best caterer in La Crosse County. Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem, and now open at George and Gillette Street. A delicious mouthful.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call today for your free estimate on a new American Standard system or schedule online at carryheating.com.
At the D&D Diner, you can expect hometown meals, hometown service, and hometown prices. Hi, this is Dale with the D&D Diner in Sparta, your new home for great food, cold beer, and fine wines. Whether it's a big breakfast, a tasty lunch, or traditional dinner, you'll find it on our menu. Whether it's Friday night fish dinners, Saturday night prime rib, or our many daily specials, your place for great food at fantastic prices is the D&D Diner in Sparta.
Welcome back one more time, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Paul Reichert and Billy Doc Niles. I'm Radio Man Dan Dyker. Got a big event coming up here that we want to talk to you about. We tried to do this last year at Big Boar BBQ in West Salem. We were set up outside. Interviews going fine. And, well, if it has to do with racing, then you know Mother Nature has to go in and screw things up. So we had to go inside and tape from a car show that did not happen. But we did get to see almost Paul Reichert almost gnaw off 3 digits from Billy Doc Niles as he was digging through the barbecue. And I think he even ate
Yeah, it's a good thing my wedding ring stayed on.
Lies, all lies.
that, too. He'd have had that down going, seems like a bone. I'm just going to keep eating.
Don't believe the hype, ladies and gentlemen.
Got a huge deal coming up here, which we are involved with. The Seven Rivers Racing TV show is going to be taped at this event. And Billy Doc Niles, on Sunday, July 29th, the 608 Piston Pounders are hosting their car show. It is Trophy Night, and this is a big, big deal.
They got you got all these categories here: old rods, rat rods, car and street machines from up to 72, car and street machines from 73 to 89, and then another one newer. You got 3 different classes of trucks. You got imports. You got little piston picks, People's Choice, Piston Pounders Choice, all kinds of trophies, all kinds of sweet-looking cars, sweet-looking rides. If you're into restored vehicles, this is going to be the one to go to. You're going to see some cars from, well, you know, I want to see a 70 Camaro. That was one of my first cars, was a 70 Camaro. I can't wait to see that. I also want to see Jason Stark's 70 Camaro.
Jason Stark's 70 Camaro. I used to watch that. It's like a caramel color.
They're blocking off the whole street to get to have room for all these vehicles. So
which is Commerce Street. So that is the side road off of Highway 16 there in West Salem.
And it's going to be great. Get out there, pick one of your favorites. You get to vote there. The food is going to be awesome because, of course, we're going to be at Big Boar BBQ here. So, get out there early. It runs from 11 to 4 on the 29th, 2 weeks from this weekend. It starts at 11 a.m. Registration starts at noon for all the cars.
No, registration starts at 10.
Oh, 10? I have 11 on my sheet here.
Well, the event is 11 to 4. Registration 10 a.m. to
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah.
See, we all have the same sheet.
If I read it correctly.
It's only $5 to enter this thing.
And get out there, check out the cars, try the food, vote for your favorite vehicle.
And at the same time, you're going to be able to watch us. We're going to be taping the program from this huge car show. We're going to hopefully have Jerry Beyer on, the gentleman that runs the 608 Piston Pounders for the Trophy Night. We're going to try to get him on. We're going to try to get a couple interviews with some of the trophy presenters and some of the other folks that are out there.
Matt Henderson's going to have his late model out there.
Yep, Matt Henderson, sponsored by KQEG TV, is going to have his number 33 late model out there. And instead of having a band, they had a band set up. Well, I'm turned into the DJ of this event. So, and I told him, hey, if you need a DJ or an MC or something, I'd be willing to do it for food. Well, of course, the band canceled, and they've booked me now as the DJ. And guess how much I'm charging them, Billy?
Well, how many pounds of burnt ends are you going to get off of
There it is. I'm going to do it for food. Jerry Beyer from Big Boar BBQ said, well, if that's the case, this may go negative on me real quick.
Yeah, the burnt ends, the what was that new mashed potato you had last time we were there?
Garlic mashed potatoes.
Oh my goodness!
Pork,
why are you not this fat for as much as you eat?
I tell you what, I love me some Big Boar BBQ and Paul Reichert. They have some fantastic sponsors as well. We're going to go ahead and name them because, well, it's Big Boar BBQ, and this car show is probably going to be one of the largest in the area.
Yeah, a lot of great support from a lot of businesses for this car show. West Salem Tool and Die, West Salem Auto Repair, Gary's Auto Repair, Lindvig Trucking, Three Rivers Pilot Car Service, Wolf's Garage, CR Glass and Exhaust Plus, and of course Brennan Auto and Fishkey Motors return far away from them.
Most of them all great West Salem business to support. So support your local business.
They do have the Big Boar BBQ Cruise Nights. They're the first and third Wednesdays of every month. They started back in May, and they will be running through October. So if you want a little nostalgia right there and a good barbecue sandwich at the same rate, this is something you're going to want to go to if you do the Cruise Nights. But this one here, remember last year when we were all set up and ready to go, we saw their trophies.
Yes.
Those were way cool. I mean, Chuck Deary does a fantastic job on the piston trophies we have at Street Drags. Like for the big run, the 300-foot drag nationals in October. These trophies were just way cool.
And if you get out there, check out the trophies. These people are going to be proud to get one of these trophies. They're so cool looking, and you're going to see some cool cars, cool trophies, awesome food. Get out there early and check it out.
Again, that's going to be Sunday, July 29th. They have 12 trophy categories, 25 total trophies. I'll be DJing the event, 50-50 raffle, door prizes, and a whole lot more, of course. Big Boar BBQ. One thing I love about these is my folks were like Pontiac fans. I remember in 1974, I think it was, my dad had a big old long Pontiac station wagon. We call it the Green Bomb. It was disgusting. It was pea-colored, and it was nasty. But, we come from that era of cars like that, and some of these ugly cars you would see back in the day, now if you go to car shows like this, they've got their trophies lined up in front, they've got them, you open the hood up, they got them inside there, they got dash plaques over the place.
My wife and I had an old Pontiac or Oldsmobile when we first got married. We called it the Booger. It was green.
All right, Paul, yours?
Well, mine was, I think, a 77 Mustang. Well, it wasn't really called a fastback, but it looked like one.
Mine was a 1979, now get this, a 1979 Honda Civic hatchback.
Wait a minute.
What?
Were you that tall when you had that car?
I was 6'1" when I had that car.
Oh, okay, so you were normal then, because if you were this tall when you had that car, you'd have to go Bubba Smith on that bad boy.
And there were times I could have driven out of the back seat of that one and just torn it out, but I can't say publicly on this television family-oriented program what we used to call that car, but it was a 4-speed, and the coolest thing is it had a Kraco 40-watt power booster, the one you push the button in.
So you had no windows very often.
No. I had like 12 speakers. I had a 40-watt power booster, no amp. So I had a power booster into the stereo. I had like 12 speakers, 6x9s laying over the back seat. It was loud, no bass. Well, I didn't figure you needed an amp back then.
We're talking about first cars. My very first car was a 70 Camaro when I was 16 years old.
See, these were the cool kids.
Yeah. My dad
stuck with hand-me-downs.
My dad went out and he bought 3 $50 beaters, and I spent a couple of months taking parts from all 3 of them and making one drivable car. And that was my car for my sophomore and junior year.
Nice. I had a Honda Civic hatchback. I'll tell you off air what we called it. It was brown, so that could maybe lead you into it.
Yeah, I know we only have a minute of the show left. I want to give a shout out to one of one of our loyal watchers, the mayor of Preston, Minnesota, the Honorable Tim Hallam. Mr. Hallam, I do not need a hat to look this good.
No, he doesn't. He's not bald. You know, talking about Preston, Minnesota. That's the home of Rob Mason.
Peterson, Minnesota.
Okay, because Preston, Minnesota, Rob Mason, former Sportsman driver, stopped up and said hi to everybody in the booth on Saturday. It was really good to see him again. And he watches, and I'm still taller than you are by about that. Sponsors the program, Billy?
Hey, we got Big Boar BBQ, of course, our title sponsor. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. If you haven't had that air conditioner checked out yet, you're probably sweating it out. D&D Diner in Sparta, Epic Media and Vinyl, Back 40 Wraps, and of course, everybody, fansarena.com.
There it is. And of course, Drew Krybick and
did a great job on
Back 40
that.
Wraps and Epic Media. I want to thank Jesse, our producer. I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching us on the program, year number 8. Still rocking it out there. Add yourself to our Facebook page. We've got a lot of contests coming up, and everyone's already asking me, when are you going to have that Oktoberfest race package? We're not going to tell you.
Later this year.
That's not exactly right. That's going to do it for the program. We will see you next week right here on 7 Rivers Racing.
You've been watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar BBQ, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. And by the D&D Diner. Good food, fine wine. On Theater Road in Sparta, next to the BP Truck Stop. Thanks for watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
4 years in a row and counting. Hi, this is Jerry Beyer at Big Boar BBQ. Once again, La Crosse County has voted us the best barbecue and best caterer in La Crosse County. Making great ribs and great barbecue has always been my passion, and it means a great deal to me that you love what we do. If you haven't tried our ribs, pulled pork, brisket, or smoked chicken, try it and you'll agree. Big Boar BBQ, a delicious mouthful.
Yeah.